Alrighty, guys. Without further ado, spawning in the top right, in the red, the Terran player from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Give it up. It is Cure.
And spawning here at the bottom left, we have our blue Protoss player playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. He's our returning hero.
We need a hero.
Oh my god, you know that song is like, it has been played so much these days because
I know.
there's a recent episode of Loki. If you guys are watching Loki on Disney Plus, in a certain episode, they opened up with that song. And of course, that is one of the most used song in television and movies. I believe they also used it in the recent trailer of, I'm gonna say He-Man or something like that. I forgot which specific trailer, but yeah, that song has been played quite often these days.
Yeah, it's always kind of funny because a lot of times, we see some of these pros, they have names that just remind you of different things, and obviously, like Hero is I guess kind of a staple. I mean, he's been around for a while, and personally, I'm excited to see him back now that he's out of his army, service and everything like that. It's just cool he is still performing at that high tier level that we were used to seeing him. Like, yeah, he might be a little bit rusty, making some mistakes, but to be able to still like play against these people is just awesome to see. So
yeah, for sure. By the way, Brian Shen in the chat saying thanks for hosting such exciting series. Thank you, my brother. We are glad and happy to bring these exciting and awesome tournament and events to you guys. Make sure to, of course, drop the follow button if you do like the content here on our channel. And of course, if you do like our content as well, just head on over to our YouTube and drop a subscribe and turn on the notification bell to know when we publish a new video. But anyhow, let's get back into this game here. Looks like both players are opening up pretty standard, no proxies or shenanigans. And if this goes to the late game, StarsFallDim, do you kind of prefer that for Cure, or do you prefer that for Hero?
I think overall Protoss has I don't want to say bigger advantage, but I do think that late game for them is a little bit easier than for a Terran. I mean, we've recently seen Maru playing against Zest and having to utilize, Ghosts, having to utilize Liberators, and really having to micro hard to be able to kind of contend with that. And I think if Hero is able to get himself into a good position, it's going to be really tough for him. We already see Hero, though, getting aggressive. He's got that double Adept style opening. He's throwing down a third gateway here. Or excuse me, that's his second gateway. He has the Stargate in the main, so it's going to be opening up into that Oracle. And this is almost an older style of the Stargate opening. A lot of times we do see Protoss is now kind of opening up into Stalkers and trying to throw off their opponent before going into Stargate. So I'm interested to see how this is going to play out, especially with Hero, putting on that pressure in the front. He realizes, though, not going to get too much more done, and will return back with those Adepts. But as this goes on, I wouldn't mind seeing him go into maybe like a Glaive Adept style.
Yeah, that's very much possible. I mean, especially with the Twilight Council being thrown down and Glaive being so quick to research, and also the distance between their naturals are going to allow the Adepts to reach Cure's base a lot quicker.
Oh, I love this so much. Hero coming in with that Oracle, looking to pick off a couple of Marines before getting into the nitty-gritty of Cure's mineral line. And, Cure having to stay back at home with those Widow Mines just to try to, snag himself an Oracle kill. Oh, Hero's got to be careful. And eventually we'll make it out. Now, the Adept's still going to be coming in here, shading on top of it. Oh, the Widow Mine shots, though, going to damage those Adepts pretty well. And Hero just all over the place right now, but Cure defending this pretty well.
Yeah, those Widow Mines were intended for actually the Oracle, but I think it kind of actually, as I say that, there is another Widowmine here in the main base. We'll take out the Oracle. So nicely done there. Nice position by here, but looks like Hero is not letting up on the aggression. He's going to go ahead and try to dive in here into the natural and get some additional worker and economic harassment, and does get a decent amount, 9 SCVs.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing such a good job transitioning into just a handful of Phoenix, not going full, you know, adept Phoenix that we've seen in the past, but actually able to shade into the main. Another Widowmine shot, though, going to take out a handful of those adepts, and these Marines, I think, just going to be able to surround and then eventually just push everything back here. But the damage has been done so far, 14 SCVs, and this is keeping Cure on the defensive. It's not allowing him to go across the map, while Hero is able to take his third, start building it up. We have that Glade to Depth upgrade coming through, as well as additional gateways, so it doesn't look like Hero wants to give up at any point right now.
Yeah, looks like the Glaive will just finish right now. Will he dive in here? I don't think he should, just because there's a lot there in the natural. There's the tank, there's the Raven, there of course are the Marines. Not the most safe place to shade in here. So it will be.
But he does have Glade to Depths now, so that's going to be a big factor. He's got those Phoenix as well,
yeah,
picking it up, and
that's not a lot of tanks actually. So can lift up the tank, will immediately take it out, and all that's left are Marines against a bunch of adepts.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Marines don't do the best against adepts. Those Phoenix are going to be able to pick off units and pick them up one at a time, as well as maybe keep the medevac back. But Cure going to tap out, and we're going to see Hero take game number 1 in a pretty, heavy series there, just showing his dominance early on. Alrighty. Spawning in the bottom left in the red, the Terran from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Give it up. It is Cure.
And spawning here at the top right, we have Blue Protoss playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming and maybe attending My Hero Academia. It is Hero.
Alrighty, so game number 2 coming in on Jaganatha. We always see crazy games on this, and already we see Cure across the map throwing down barracks, and we're probably going to get into a double racks situation here, and that definitely excites me. We already got that refinery down, so going to go into double refinery, so it's going to be a Reaper opening coming out here from Cure, and I don't know, does Hero actually scout this out? He hasn't sent anything across yet, and I don't know, does he just have intuition maybe that there's something going on? But no, he's just going to go for an expansion.
That's so unfortunate, because I mean, this is the game where he doesn't scout and he's getting proxied. Like, that's a bad combo.
Okay, so it's going to be a Marine first coming out from Cure.
Oh.
It's going to throw down a factory behind this. So does he want to go into maybe like a weird mine drop, like throwing it like, oh, I'm going into double Reapers? But again, there's no scout coming out from Heroes. So if you're Cure, do you then become a little bit kind of concerned, like, wait a second, a Protoss not scouting? They must be up to something themselves. But in fact, Hero's just playing standard. He's getting that Cybernex core, he's getting his expansion. Doesn't have a care in the world.
Funnily enough, I think this might actually work out for Hero with a no scout, because now he can just pretty much open up standard. Although, as I say that, what in this world? He is opening up with a sentry. Oh no. Okay, usually you'll see Protoss open up with a Adept or a Stalker, and I would say that's like, that's the usual opening, of course, but I mean, sentry? I mean, imagine if a Cure opened up with a Reaper. I mean, this Reaper would have killed the sentry, so it's not safe to open up with a sentry first. Yeah,
well, you gotta think also, like, these two are partners, and I'm sure maybe they've played against each other a few times, and so it's very interesting. Oh, no. Okay. I was thinking this was going to be one of those older builds that we've seen, but no. it's going to be the Hallucinated Oracle going into the main base of Cure, but to be honest, does that throw Cure off enough? I mean, he doesn't have anything at home to defend, seeing that there's a hallucination there. And then also Hero seeing, okay, there's some kind of proxy going on. Instantly should throw down a shield battery here.
Yep, and there we have it. Shield battery on the way. And Hero must be sweating right now because, you know,
What is this build?
No, right?
Alrighty, so we've got multiple shield batteries down in the robotics facility to follow. Tank gonna siege up behind the pillars here. They're just gonna continue to hammer away. Now, the Sentry doesn't have a lot of energy. He doesn't have enough for force fields or anything like that. So unfortunately, not gonna be able to get too much done. A second tank gonna be coming in. The probe's gonna get pulled to pick up on this. But I don't know if Hero is gonna have enough here.
It doesn't look quite like he had enough. All the stalkers, but 2 are remaining. The shield batteries and the production are all under siege here, and the Hero is going to have to fall back. But what does he have to fall back on? He doesn't have any, a far ahead tech or anything. He doesn't have like a huge amount of probes left over. A nice force field, but a bunch of them does get through, and only 2 stalkers here to pick off. This is going to be quite a tough break out of this contain.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the big thing of why you want to scout, especially on a map like Jagannatha. We do see Hero kind of backing up. He's added on those additional gateways to try to get some kind of army together. He even has Blink on the way. It actually just completed, and a DT Shrine. Now, that could help him out, but I don't know if it's going to be enough or if it can even get out in time as the overcharge is activated. Eventually just going to get focused down, and with Hero trying to blink back and just, slowly pounce on this, there's just too many Marines, too many tanks, and the probe's going to go down. The Stalker's falling, and a GG as Cure decides to tie things up. Alrighty, without further ado, spawning in the bottom left, the Red Terran. From Dragon Phoenix Gaming, it is Cure.
And give it up, guys, for this guy here on the top right, the blue Protoss, hailing from Korea, playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. He's Hero.
Alrighty, so we got Hero coming down to the third base. Looks like he might try to proxy and return the favor against Kieran. Oh, no, he's just going to go ahead and go in for a normal scout. Now, one thing I love about these team plays or team games, excuse me, when you have someone on your own team that you play against, like obviously these players get to wear their practice partners and stuff like that. We see some of the craziest builds come out, and last game definitely one of those ones where it's like just cheeky plays, just craziness, and it makes watching StarCraft just so much fun. We see Cure going for another barracks play here, and oh my goodness, Hero does not scout it out. Oh my god.
Oh my god. That.
Now, he knows that there's a proxy at least, so he is looking around. He's going to proxy a pylon himself. And, this is just insane. It's one of the things I love, not only like when 2 people of the same team play, but when it's a tournament that's not, or a series or whatever that's not like super important like GSL, but it's still like something on the line. It's just so cool to see these like funny little builds and how they react against each other. Yeah, it's just so much silliness. So we do got a factory though coming up for Cure, and behind this I think he's going to go into maybe like a Hellion Reaper style play, but we'll see. Hero already has that Zealot, so
Alright, Reaper will bypass the Zealot and just go straight into the mineral line. Does take a... Oh, nice micro there, but does lose 1 probe. Do we get a second one? Oh, wait, actually, the second one was killed, I think...
across the map, I think.
Across the map, maybe? Yeah.
Ooh. We do get a Stargate on the way, so Hero really favoring that Stargate style play. And, he does have the Adept out. He's got the Zealot in the back just in case, but seeing that at least there's more Reapers and stuff coming through for the Terran, can at least kind of start to assess what he needs to do and keep an eye on Cure himself. Now, does Kira actually scout this out? He will. He will see the Stargate. It's going to be a Void Ray opening, and I don't think he has enough Reapers here to actually just shut that down. So, Hero getting very, very cheesy in game number 3. Both players are actually.
Yeah. I mean, if your teammate does serve you cheese, I mean, it's the only kind thing to serve them back cheese, right?
Mm-hmm. This is actually really good for Kira as well. I mean, he's going to scout that there are shield batteries in place. The big problem is the barracks is having to float across the map, so he's not going to have Marines in time for this. Does have the Cyclone, but with the shield batteries in place, it just gets kind of interesting. He's going to take out the Tech Lab, and Kira in a lot of trouble right now.
Yeah, only working off of one factory at the time being. The barracks does finally drop down here, but gotta make some Marines, man, my man.
Yeah, he's repositioning himself. More shield batteries going down as Hero just going full on shield battery mode. There is a Viking out and the Cyclone trying to get on top of it, but now that the Tech Lab is gone and that second Cyclone is out, he's gonna have to reposition, remake the Tech Lab if he wants any more Cyclones with this. A couple of the SCVs trying to heal up and keep the supply up for the Terran, but as this keeps going on, Hero gonna start pulling a little bit more and more ahead with these shield batteries as well as with the Void Rays coming in. Even gonna throw down a Twilight Council and a Gateway in his opponent's natural.
Right. I don't think Hero can kind of fly in any further because of course those 2 turrets does pack a punch. Instead, it looks like Hero's gonna kind of circumvent around, but he's got to be careful because he's kind of flying away from his shield batteries. And in the meantime, these shield batteries at the front in the natural are getting taken out without any contest from a Hero. So I'm not sure if this is gonna quite work out.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to pounce now onto the Cyclones, but with multiple Vikings out now and with those 2 Cyclones still out, and even the addition of those missile turrets, it does make it a little bit tougher for Hero. Now, he doesn't have the additional batteries in the natural like he had, so being able to push in like he was is going to be a lot tougher. Now, he can still focus down the Vikings. He's got Stalkers coming in to kind of help with that, Adepts to essentially shade in and see where everything is at without risking too much. But it does get very, very interesting now.
Yeah, oh, does lose a Viking there. Gotta be careful. You don't want to go into a place where you're getting snowballed and your Vikings get picked off one by one. But here we go. Adepts flying in. Glaive research at the front. This is wonky. I mean,
yeah, it's definitely a crazy game. Both players starting off in just such a weird position. Tanks do go down. Going to be able to start focusing down onto the turrets. And even with the Adepts now going into the main base, putting on the pressure, taking out the tanks. And what is there really to defend now? It's just a couple of Vikings. We'll be able to push that out. But GG's. And Hero going to take the game and put himself in a lead.
I gotta say, I do love how he rocks that Happy Star deck out right next to his command center. This always brings a smile to my face.
It just makes me hungry.
What?
It reminds me of the Arby's or Hardee's kind of star. So every time I see it, I think of burgers and chicken strips.
Aw, man, I could use a burger right now.
Yeah, me too. I got some popcorn. That's not as good though. But
I think we just made a whole bunch of people in the audience just really hungry right now. They're grabbing their food right now.
Well, that's the next poll we need. Are you a burger kind of person or a chicken tender kind of person? See who votes the most. But so far we have a standard game coming out from both of these two, which is actually kind of wonky considering the past few games. Both players building stuff in their own bases. Although crazy to see.
Yeah, although what was not standard is losing an SCV that early, the one that was building the barracks. So a little bit of a missed micro there by here. Of course, it's not like game changing or anything, but at this stage, you never want to, and especially at this level, it's not common to see the SCV going down early to that probe.
Yeah, definitely. I'm kind of interested to see what we're going to get from Cure. He's sending out an SCV out onto the map. I feel like he's going to throw down a starport and go into a Hellion drop behind this. He's got the reactor going up onto the barracks. He's got the factory right next to it, and yep, there's that starport going down. So, going to be a nice little Hellion drop, and I think that's going to be good. I mean, through these games, Hero really hasn't came across with much. Like, yeah, he's done an Adept, but he's not going into like a Zealot into Stalker pressure and just trying to keep Cure at home. It's going to be an opportunity here for Cure to get in, get some damage, and then, kind of come back from it. It definitely feels like lately Hero has been favoring more of that Stargate opener, which does give some time for Cure, but as we look into Hero's base, he's going into 3 gateways, so definitely could go for an aggressive push here. And Cure's not going to have anything at home. It's all going to be across the map.
Yeah, well, Hero does got the proxy starport finally, and he know what's up. There's really not a lot of, options when you see that. It's usually either Hellion drop or, Widowmine drop. Normally you don't see a proxy starport just for a Viking opening or anything. It could be a Liberator opening, but I think the more common, of course, is the Hellion drop and Widowmine drop.
Yeah,
there we go.
I mean, he's already got a Stalker in the main, so gonna be tough to even get anything. And because of how Hero's been placing his buildings, can't even get into the mineral line. So, fortunately, loses the medevac for free. Almost loses a Hellion, and now Hero can finally move those probes down to the bottom natural base, and go from there. He hasn't had to sacrifice anything. He can still go in with his aggression. And what has Cure really gained? He hasn't really gained anything.
Yeah, now there's something you guys might not have noticed or anything, but before the Hellion drop commenced, Hero pulled all his probes from the natural into the main, knowing that if he can kind of defend at one place, one area, then it makes the defense much easier. And it really helped out because once the Stalkers were noticed in the main, Hero went straight into the natural, but there was no probes because, again, all the probes were evacuated earlier on, so he ends up losing absolutely 0 probe, and that was a really great play and move by Hero.
Definitely. Well, now Hero going into that forge, he's getting his Twilight, so going to be getting his upgrades. I think he's going to open up with Blink, given that he's going into so many Stalkers. Actually, he's choosing to go into Charge. I don't mind that at all. And also getting that armor upgrade, so
but
very interesting.
Don't you think it's a little bit peculiar because he has a lot of Stalkers? You would think that he was going to go for the Blink opening instead, but going for the Charge instead. That's interesting.
Well, it is something that Protosses are doing now, is going very heavy into that Charge lot. They're cheaper units. They're able to just kind of mass those up. And yeah, you show the Stalkers, say, oh, I'm going mass Stalkers. Of course, it's going to be Blink. On a map like this, it's like, oh, Blink is so good on this map. But going into that Charge throws off the Terran. He's not, as you see, Cure is not making Widowmines right now. He's not thinking of anything as Zealots. He's thinking Stalkers. I need to defend against these Stalkers. Charge being done is going to allow those Zealots to get on top of the tanks and just start trying to shut this down. And, going for the heavy upgrades. He's getting that Templar Archive, so looks like he's wanting to rush into Storm here as well.
Yeah. Oh, man. This medevac, though, with the 4 Hellion is going to kind of keep Hero preoccupied with some of his units. And it's going to be so annoying because he's going to have to keep an eye out on that throughout. Like, just barely. You know what? I think you could just leave a High Templar there. Just feedback it.
Yeah. He can just leave the Templar there. Which is actually what he's doing. He's just going to try to feedback it. It's only got 1 hit left before it's taken out. And now, finally, those Hellions going to get into the main base. Going to be able to deal a little bit of damage here. Actually roasting up to 6 probes. Looks like another 7. Same time, we're going to see Cure going into that third base and looking to shut it down. And yeah, I mean, it's forcing Hero into kind of an awkward position, but ends up defending the main. Now he's just got to worry about this third base natural area. And what does he have? I mean, he's going into that heavier style of upgrades, so he doesn't have a giant army. But it looks like he might just try to go across the map, trying to decide where he wants to go with this, actually.
This is not looking great for our blue Protoss. I mean, he is literally on mainly gateway units. Yes, he has an Archon. Yes, he has 1 High Templars, but compared to what Cure has, that's not a scary force.
Now, they are even in army supply. He has the War Prism, so can still warp in, Zealots to keep up the pressure, but with Cure being in that third base kind of blocked area, there's no attacking into it. So Hero just going to go across, deal as much damage that he can, and then eventually just try to, recall back into his natural and deal with that a push that is inevitably going to be coming.
Oh yeah, that could be a good play. I mean, he does have the +1, right? Compared to the 0/0 of Cure, so maybe he can kind of do his damage here and then just quickly recall before the rest of Cure's army head into his own natural. Nice War Prism micro and nice Fortune does segment some of these bio units, getting some additional warpings.
At the same time, we do have that natural looking to be attacked. Now, Hero did warp in a bunch of Zealots at home to try to defend against that. Able to kill off a few Marines, but now the Marines focusing down the pylon. The tanks in the back still, but 21 SCVs plus now going down as Hero just attacking everything in sight. And Cure really can't get into the natural right now.
Yeah. I think it's looking pretty good, actually. This attack was way stronger than Nye has even suspected, but Cure is not looking too good, looking too hot. Cure is gonna actually make it work. I think Charge Lot actually a pretty good unit to defend against Marine and tanks, and he will able to hold on to his natural with these Charge Lot while on the other side being able to destroy the bases of Cure. And GG Hero with a 3-1 victory.